There comes a moment in every man's life when he has to face a brutal truth. The woman he's chasing was never really interested in the first place. She smiled. She replied. Sometimes she even stayed around, just long enough to keep the illusion alive. But deep down, she had already made up her mind. And you, my friend, were never the man she was truly waiting for. In today's world, where one swipe gives her 10 new admirers, attention has become cheap. Effort is rare, so if she's not trying, not initiating, not reciprocating, not leaning in, it's not confusion, it's clarity. She doesn't see you as the one, and I know that stings. But pain often whispers what pride refuses to hear. You're not here to audition for her affection. You're here to see the signs, to lead with awareness, to walk away before your dignity starts bleeding. But too many men? They linger in limbo, sending that one last text, waiting for a reply that never comes, giving her energy she never asked for and will never return. By the time realization hits, your spirit feels used, your time burned, your confidence hollowed out by false hope. That ends today, because once you know the truth, you stop begging for breadcrumbs. You stop trying to light a fire. In a woman who's standing in the rain, what I'm about to share isn't a theory. It's not about games or tactics. It's experience, paid for by every man who gave too much, to someone who felt too little. These are 7 clear signs that she's not into you. No guesswork, no decoding, no mixed messages, just patterns that reveal when it's time to stop chasing and start reclaiming your self-worth. So take a breath, set your pride aside, and open your eyes, because the strongest move a man can make is knowing when to walk away, without anger, without explanation, just clarity. Let's begin. Before we begin, drop this in the comments. I choose clarity over confusion. I choose self-respect over chasing. Because sometimes the strongest thing a man can do is walk away without flinching and never look back. 1. She rarely replies. You send her a message, not a long essay, not a love letter, just something light, a question, a check-in, a moment of presence. And then you wait. Minutes pass, then hours, and eventually you forget what you even sent, until late at night. She replies with a dry, disconnected one-liner, not because she was asleep, not because she was busy, but because your presence doesn't move her. See, when a woman is interested, her energy reveals it. She doesn't stall. She doesn't forget. She doesn't delay connection with someone she feels drawn to. She wants to be part of your world. She looks for excuses to talk, not reasons to avoid. But when she rarely replies, that silence isn't shyness. It's the sound of disinterest. And here's what many men do wrong. They justify it. She's probably not into texting. Maybe she's just going through something. She saw the message but forgot. No, brother. If you go to her Instagram, she's online. She's posting. She's active. She had time, just not for you. Let that sink in, because when a woman wants you, she makes time. She doesn't need reminders. She doesn't require effort to be consistent. She responds because your presence is meaningful to her. But when it isn't, you get the scraps. The delayed replies, the cold energy, the dry texts, not out of malice, but out of apathy. You've been placed in her polite ignore category. She's not embracing you, she's managing you. She doesn't want to be rude, but she also doesn't want to engage. And the worst thing a man can do, try harder. He sends longer messages. He makes jokes. He waits patiently. He convinces himself this is the way to win her over. But it backfires, because she sees it. That you're investing deeply in someone who gives you nothing real in return. And that's a weak position. And women can feel weakness like a shift in the wind. You're no longer the man she wonders about. You're now just the man she manages, the placeholder, the easy attention. Every man must learn this truth. Effort doesn't compensate for lack of interest. If she replies once every 8 hours with zero warmth, that's not a challenge. That's your signal. Pull back. Let her silence say what she won't. Don't chase. Don't explain. Don't ask for more. Her energy is already your answer. We live in a world where people carry their phones 24/7. If she wanted to reply, she would. If she wanted to connect, she'd reach. But she didn't. And that silence? That's where your clarity lives. You are not invisible. You're just not important to her. And that's a truth a man must not ignore. Because the more you chase what avoids you, the smaller you appear. In her eyes and in your own. When she pulls back and you lean in, that imbalance erodes attraction. A confident man doesn't beg for space in someone's mind. He doesn't wait by the phone. He doesn't lower his worth to prove he deserves a reply. He watches effort, and if it's absent, he exits, not out of spite, but out of strength. So if her replies are dry, late, and empty, that's not a puzzle to solve. That's a message to receive. You don't need more effort. You need more self-respect. And sometimes the most powerful text you'll ever send is none at all. 2. She's always busy. You ask if she's free this week. She pauses, then smiles softly. I've just been really busy lately. You nod. You try to understand, because that's what a good man does, right? He gives space. He respects her time. But weeks go by. You hear the same words again and again. I've just been slammed. Work is insane right now. Maybe next week. At first, you believe her, because you want to, because the idea that she's just busy hurts less than the idea that she simply doesn't care. But let me tell you something hard, something every man learns too late. People make time for what matters, no exceptions. When a woman is truly interested, she doesn't hide behind her schedule. She breaks it. She shifts meetings. She squeezes you in, even if it's just 10 minutes. She calls you from the car. She stays up late just to hear your voice. Why? Because that's what people do when they care. They don't look for excuses. They look for windows. So when she tells you she's too busy, again and again and again, what she's really saying is, "You're not a priority in my life." And that truth cuts deeper than any excuse ever could. You become someone she'll get to, eventually, if ever. And here's the dangerous part. Many good men respond with patience. They think they're being mature, emotionally intelligent, supportive. But what they don't realize is that patience, when it comes from a place of self-neglect, isn't strength. It's invisibility. She sees it. She feels it. She knows you'll wait. She knows you'll reschedule. She knows she doesn't have to try. That's the silent fade. That's how she slowly walks you out of her life, without ever needing to say goodbye. And some men try to work around it. They offer alternate days, suggest flexible plans, anything just to make it happen. But the more you bend, the less she values you. You don't look strong. You look overly available, predictable, and that kills mystery. It kills attraction, and soon it kills the connection entirely. See, a woman who feels something real doesn't want to miss her chance with you. She won't risk you slipping away. She'll rearrange her week. She'll text first. She'll create time. Because a man of presence doesn't go unnoticed. But when all you hear are soft excuses, "This week's been crazy. I've just got so much on my plate," with no real action behind them, you're not being respected. You're being slowly erased. Don't chase her through her calendar. Don't beg for crumbs of her time. Don't confuse avoidance for effort. If she's always busy, she's never serious. And a woman who's not serious about you has no business holding your attention. Here's the truth most men avoid. If she wanted to be in your life, you wouldn't have to wonder where you stand. A woman who respects you, who feels your energy, will use her free time as a bridge to reach you, not as a wall to keep you out. So don't let the lie comfort you. Don't let her busy become your excuse to keep waiting on something that isn't real. Pull back. Let your absence speak. Let her feel what it's like to lose access to your patience, your presence, your energy. Because sometimes the strongest thing a man can do is nothing. 3. She never initiates. You always text first. You always ask how her day went. You're the one who plans, who follows up, who keeps the conversation alive. And slowly, without even noticing it, you become the only one rowing the boat. It starts small. You reach out once. She responds, not with excitement, not with warmth, but enough to keep you hanging. So you row harder. You text again. You try to be funny. You ask thoughtful questions. You try to be more interesting, but she never initiates. And here's the truth, brother. When a woman never initiates, it means she's comfortable with your absence. It doesn't mean she's shy. It doesn't mean she's old-fashioned. It doesn't mean she's too busy. It means you're not on her mind. In a real connection, effort flows both ways. It's a dance. You take a step. She takes one too. You lean in. She meets you halfway. But if you're the only one moving, you're not dancing. You're performing, you're building something alone, while she just watches, arms folded, indifferent. Let's be honest. A woman who feels something real for you doesn't need to be reminded you exist. She doesn't sit back and wait for a show. She texts you because she wants to. She calls because she misses you. She shares a song, a meme, a memory, anything, just to feel close again. And if that never happens, if you're always chasing, always initiating, then you're not in a relationship. You're in pursuit. And the worst part? She knows it. She sees your effort, and she doesn't have to match it because you never required her to. You taught her something dangerous, that she can give nothing and still keep you around. So she keeps taking your time, your energy, your attention, all without giving you what truly matters, her interest. Men in this situation often tell themselves stories. She's just not good with texting. She likes to be pursued. She's probably waiting to see if I'm serious. But deep down, you feel it in your gut. Because when a woman is into you, you don't have to guess. You don't have to justify. You don't have to beg. She initiates. She reaches out. She shows up. A woman who never starts the conversation is a woman who wouldn't notice if the conversation stopped. You become the guy who always shows up, who fills in every silence, who tries harder with every dry reply. But that effort doesn't build connection. It builds resentment, because you're building something for two, while she's not even holding a brick. And here's the brutal truth. She won't suddenly appreciate your consistency. She won't wake up one day and think, wow, he's been so steady. I should love him now. She'll keep taking what you offer because you never required her to give. A woman doesn't value what she doesn't have to work for. Effort earns appreciation. Initiation signals emotional investment. And when she never initiates, that silence is the message. So what should you do? You pull back. Not to punish her, not to play games, but to protect your dignity. You stop feeding something that doesn't feed you. You stop performing for someone who doesn't clap. A man of value watches energy, and if it's not mutual, he walks, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Because he knows, if she won't start the conversation, she sure as hell won't fight to keep it. Let your silence say what your words no longer need to, because any woman who's okay losing you was never fighting to keep you. 4. She avoids physical closeness. You sit beside her, and she shifts away. You reach out just lightly, and she pulls back, almost unnoticeably. But you notice. It doesn't hurt at first. It confuses you, makes you wonder, maybe she's just shy. Maybe it's just not the right time. But then it happens again, and again, and again. You go for a hug, and it's stiff, like hugging a mannequin. Her arms don't pull you in. They barely touch your back. She avoids your touch not out of fear, but out of absence. Absence of comfort. Absence of chemistry. Let's be honest here. Physical closeness isn't always about desire. It's about comfort, warmth, being drawn in without thought. When a woman feels something real for you, you won't have to analyze her body language. It speaks before she does. She leans closer when you speak. She touches your shoulder when she laughs. She brushes against you on purpose, not by accident. You don't have to force it. You don't have to beg for it, because when it's real, it flows naturally. But when she avoids closeness, that's not hesitation. That's a boundary. And that boundary, it's not one you're meant to push through. It's one you're meant to read and walk away from. Some men get it twisted. They think effort can warm a cold heart. They keep showing up. They try harder. They mistake resistance for mystery. But this isn't a game, and her distance isn't a test. It's the truth. She may still talk to you. She may still smile. She may even go out with you. But none of that means she feels connected, because smiles can be social. Words can be polite, but the body, it tells the story. If she avoids eye contact, if her hugs are polite and empty, if she never touches you unless she has to, it's not chemistry, it's absence. And here's what's painful. You might still be hopeful. You might think she just needs time. But deep down, you already feel it. When you sit beside her, you don't feel drawn in. You feel tolerated, like she's doing you a favor. That's not intimacy. That's distance wrapped in kindness. And some men will still keep pushing. They'll offer affection, reach for her hand, lean in hoping for a spark. But when she pulls away, when she recoils from warmth, what more do you need to see? That's not cold weather. That's cold energy. And cold energy doesn't turn warm just because you want it to. You can't build connection with someone who flinches at closeness. It's not about effort. It's not about time. It's about chemistry. And if it's not there, you can't manufacture it. You don't need to be angry. You don't need to demand answers. But you do need to honor what you feel. You need to stop convincing yourself that emotional warmth will come. If you just give it enough time, it won't. You deserve a woman who lights up when you walk in, whose body says, "I want to be near you." Not one who turns cold when you reach out. Physical closeness isn't something you should have to earn. It's something that flows when two souls connect without force. So when she avoids your touch, pulls away from your hand, shrugs off your compliments, don't keep leaning in. That's not connection. That's quiet rejection. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you reclaim your peace. Stop trying to change her body language with words. It already said everything. 5. She talks about other men. You're sitting across from her. She's laughing, but not at anything you said. She's talking about someone else, some guy at work, a stranger at the gym, her ex who still messages her, and you just sit there, smiling, nodding, pretending it doesn't sting. But it does, deeply. She isn't sharing because she's open. She's not being honest. She's placing you in the non-threatening zone, the friend zone, the safe zone, the you're not him zone. And the tragedy? Most men don't see it. They think, she's just testing me. She wants to see if I'm confident. She's being transparent. Number. She's being distant. When a woman truly wants you, she doesn't risk your focus drifting elsewhere. She draws you in, not pushes you away with talk of other men. She protects the energy between you, guards it, cherishes it. But when she talks about others, especially romantically, she's telling you something without saying it. You're not the one I want. And that truth is dressed in casual words, so you don't challenge it. Some women use this as soft rejection. They're not ready to be blunt. So they mention other men, hoping you'll take the hint. But most guys don't. They try harder. They compare themselves silently. They think, if I prove I'm better, maybe she'll choose me. But that's a trap. You don't win affection by outperforming ghosts. You don't rise in her eyes by shrinking your worth. A woman who sees value in you won't let other men invade your presence. She won't speak of them as if you don't matter. She'll focus on you, ask you things, build a space for two, not three. Sometimes it's subtle. She compliments a celebrity, talks about a co-worker who makes her laugh, mentions a guy from her past. You hear it, you feel it, but you say nothing. And each time you stay silent, you tell her, it's okay. Keep telling me about the men who excite you. I'll just sit here, loyal, invisible. But brother, that's not loyalty. That's self-erasure. When a woman likes you, she wants you to feel like the only man in the room. Even if others exist, they don't live in her words, because her attention is yours. But when she speaks of others, frequently, you become the man she confides in, not the one she craves. You become her audience, not her passion. A woman who's emotionally into you won't risk pushing you away with comparisons. She doesn't want to test you. She wants to hold you. But when she keeps bringing up other guys, she's keeping you close. But not close enough. Accessible, but not chosen. And the longer you tolerate that role, the more permanent it becomes. A man with self-respect doesn't compete where he wasn't invited. He doesn't fight shadows for approval. He observes. And when the signs are clear, he exits silently with his dignity intact. Here's your wake-up call. If you constantly hear about other men, you're not the man. And you shouldn't want to be the backup, the maybe later, the safe listener. You deserve to be the one she whispers about, not the one she updates. So stop waiting for her to notice you. Stop hoping her stories will end with you. If she truly desired you, you'd feel it in the silence between words, not in names she drops to create distance. Let her go, not in anger, but in honor of yourself. The right woman won't distract you with other men. She'll make sure you know you're the one. 6. She doesn't ask you questions. You sit across from her. You talk. You share. You open up about your day, your goals, your thoughts, your life. And what does she give back? A smile, a nod, a polite, "That's nice." But she never asks. Not once. Not how you're feeling. Not what you're passionate about. Not what makes you come alive. And that silence, my friend, speaks volumes. Because interest has a voice. And it sounds like curiosity. When someone is drawn to you, they want to know you. Not just the surface, not just the basics. They want to dive in. They want to explore the chapters of your story you rarely share. They lean in, they remember, they follow up. But when she doesn't ask, it means she doesn't feel that pull. You're not the mystery she wants to solve. You're background noise, something to fill the silence until someone else shows up. Most men miss this. They keep the conversation going. They carry the entire weight of the interaction. They talk more, joke more, try harder. And she listens, smiles, replies. But she never initiates, never digs, never turns the spotlight toward you. And slowly, without realizing it, you become the performer, the entertainer, hoping your effort will spark something in her. But effort, when not matched, becomes desperation. A woman who values you doesn't stay silent. She doesn't just react. She engages. She questions. She invests. If she's not asking, she's not investing. And here's the brutal truth. Many women will keep a man around not because they care, but because it's convenient, because he's attentive, because he's available. But you're not meant to be convenient. You're meant to be seen, to be valued, to be known. Real connection is mutual. It breathes through shared curiosity. It's built on effort from both sides. So when that effort is one-sided, you need to pay attention. Stop talking for two. Stop explaining yourself to someone who isn't asking. Watch her energy. Observe her interest, not in what she replies, but in what she initiates. Try this. Go silent. Stop leading every exchange. Don't text first. Don't start the conversation. See what happens. If she doesn't notice your absence, if she doesn't ask where you've been, if she doesn't wonder why the silence grew, there's your answer. You were never on her mind. And that's not your failure. That's your freedom. Because a woman who wants you will ask. She'll ask how you feel, what you dream about, what makes you stay up at night. She'll ask because she wants to know, because you matter. So don't beg for attention with more words. Don't mistake her silence for serenity. Your voice deserves to be heard by someone who wants to listen. And your soul deserves to be known by someone who wants to understand. 7. She keeps you a secret. When a woman genuinely wants you in her life, she doesn't hide it. She may not shout your name from rooftops or flood her feed with couple photos, but there's a quiet pride in how she includes you. She finds small ways to weave you into her world. A story, a mention, a friend who knows your name. It's not always loud, but it's consistent. She introduces you, even subtly. She doesn't flinch when someone sees you together. She's not trying to conceal you because she doesn't want to lose something or someone she values. But when she keeps you in the shadows, when you feel like a ghost floating on the edge of her life, that's not privacy, that's avoidance. You're not in her circle, you're orbiting it. She doesn't invite you into her world. She doesn't mention you when she talks to people close to her. And in public, she acts like you're barely there, a casual friend, if that. This isn't about being shy, it's about omission, and omission is a choice. Some men try to justify it. She's been hurt before. She's cautious. She needs time. But time reveals intent, and her intent isn't to claim you. It's to keep her options open. Because when a woman sees a man as hers, she protects that bond. She nurtures it. She wants it known, not paraded, but acknowledged. If months pass and no one in her life knows your name, that's not patience, it's denial. And often the truth is even sharper. She may be seeing someone else, or more than one, and she keeps you in hiding to preserve her freedom. You're not her man, you're her placeholder. You're emotionally available, sexually convenient, but publicly erased. That hurts. But it's the truth. It shows up in the small things. She never tags you, never comments, never invites you to gatherings. But late at night, she texts, she flirts, in the dark. She gives you just enough to keep you around, but never enough to feel like you're truly with her. That's not intimacy, that's access, without responsibility. And if you stay in that role too long, you're teaching her something dangerous, that it's okay to use you in private and dismiss you in public. You might notice she never uses your name in conversation, never says, "This guy I'm seeing." To her friends, you're just a friend. To the world, you're no one. And if no one knows about you, then you need to ask yourself, are you really in her life? Or are you just around? A woman who sees you, truly sees you, will eventually show it. Not through grand gestures, but through small, consistent signals that say, "This man matters to me." So if you're being hidden, don't confuse it with mystery. It's not romance. It's rejection, dressed as discretion. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be named. You deserve to stand beside her, not behind her. Because if she won't claim you, she never planned to keep you. A woman's actions will always speak louder than her words. You don't need to decode silence. You don't need to translate mixed signals. If she's not showing up with energy, presence, and care, that is your answer. You're not here to chase breadcrumbs. You're not built to beg for affection or attention. You are a man, and a man stands firm in what is real, not in what he hopes could become real. Most men waste time fantasizing about potential, but potential is a prison when it blinds you from the truth. The truth is simple. If she wanted to keep you, she would make it known. If she valued you, you would feel it, clearly. So stop bargaining with confusion. Stop investing in maybes. Start honoring your dignity. Because the moment you stop fighting for someone who wouldn't even name you, that's the moment you begin to return home to yourself. You don't need her validation. You need your own clarity. You don't need closure. You need courage. So if her actions keep you in the dark, let that be the last message you need. And if this message speaks to something inside you, hit that like button. Subscribe to the Stoic Spirit. And comment below, "I choose truth over confusion. I choose me."